Hey guys, it's Miss K. I'm an English teacher by day. By night, I read a heck of a lot of books. And today, I wanted to share with you one of the books that I read recently called Powerless. Now, Powerless is set in a fantasy world in the aftermath of a devastating plague that has swept through all of the land. It left in its wake some survivors that developed elite powers, different abilities such as speed, or fire, or mind-reading abilities, perhaps. Now, Powerless is set in a fantasy land. This fantasy land has been ravaged by a horrible plague that killed almost the entirety of the population. However, those who survived are known as the elite, and they have developed different abilities, sort of powers that make them different from the ordinaries. The ordinaries are people who survived that have not developed any supernatural abilities, it seems. Now, the ordinaries, like Payden, our main female lead in here, they survive in the gutters and the slums of this world, trying their best to blend in with society because people like the prince, his name is Kai, he is an enforcer. An enforcer is a group of people who believe that ordinaries will bring back the plague, and therefore they are set out to seek, kill, and destroy every ordinary that is left, until no one remains but the elite. Now, once a year, they have the Trials Games. The Trials Games are a series of deadly matches where 8 to 10 contestants are chosen and they must fight to the death in the Dome, this mythical arena that is set for audiences to watch these teenagers and young adults fight to the death among each other, and then the last one standing ultimately wins. Now, Payden one day accidentally saves Prince Kai. She doesn't know that it's Prince Kai, but as a reward, he enrolls her in the trials. Now, Payden being an ordinary, she knows she doesn't stand a chance against 7 elites and members of elites that are even lesser than her. Okay, some elite powers are more well known than others, like fire and water and the ability to read minds. However, she's got to fake it. And so as she enters the castle where all contestants are sequestered for 2 weeks, they will go through formal interviews where they're dressed in the best of clothes. They will answer questions with the interview host in the effort to gain sponsors that will send them gifts to help their survival in the Dome. When they're not doing interviews and they're not working for sponsors, they are training and living together at the castle, learning each other's strengths and weaknesses, developing alliances and friendships that may or may not help them in the Dome. But ultimately, there can only be one survivor. Now, at this point, ladies and gentlemen, does this sound familiar? It should. I hope so. It's the exact same plot of the Hunger Games. When Lauren Roberts wrote this, she was clearly using the Suzanne Collins Hunger Games series as inspiration. However, there is a fine line between inspiration and just flat out copying. I think this crosses that line, ladies and gentlemen. Powerless is just the Hunger Games, but with supernatural abilities set in a fantasy world. And to be honest, the supernatural abilities don't even come into play. They're not used throughout most of the book. I ultimately got about halfway through, and then I didn't finish this. I can't remember any memorable moments that stick out to me in the first half of the book. And that is not good. When you use another book series as inspiration, it must remain as inspiration. In here, instead of the Hunger Games, we have the trials. Instead of the arena, we have the Dome. We still have the interviews, but instead of Caesar Flickerman, it's someone else. We still have the entire world watching these Hunger Games, except instead of watching them on TV, they watch them in the seats. The Dome is set up kind of like a coliseum, as I understand it. And they watch from their seats in this Dome arena and look at these young adults killing each other until the last one is left standing, who is ultimately declared the winner of the trials. Now, the powers don't really come into play. The similarities between the Hunger Games and this world don't end there, though, because if you notice, Payden and Kai sound an awful lot like Peeta and Katniss. I'm not sure what Lauren Roberts was thinking when she wrote this. I don't think she intended it to be so similar as it actually is. I ultimately didn't finish this one because I felt like I was just reading The Hunger Games over again. And if you're a millennial like me, you probably grew up with Suzanne Collins' books, and then you watched all of the movies with Jennifer Lawrence and Josh Hutcherson. And to be honest, nothing quite lives up to those ones. I think this is more of a copy than it is an original story. And so I'm sorry, I didn't finish this one. My rating for this book is a 3 out of 10 at most. That is the best that I can give it. That is the lowest rating I have ever given a book since I started doing this channel. What would you give Powerless? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, make sure you click the like button. Make sure you hit subscribe on the channel and hit the little notification bell so that you get notified whenever I drop another video. And until next time, folks, happy reading.